Do you guys still get hit in primary school? Like, I'm not saying
We're
you're
not
that
that
old,
old,
but
mate.
was the sticks in the thing?
Did you get the cane?
Okay.
No one.
No
teachers could
no
lay their hands
teachers.
on
I
you.
was just
were
checking,
hitting
like-
I had a
pupils.
teacher get me in a headlock.
We're going to come back to that.
Yeah.
At the one time, my dad's like just turned up, but I didn't hear his van pull up. I just heard the door open, and I'm there, like I'm on the top bunk, Xbox on, TV on, everything. So then I've managed to like really quietly get off the top bunk, and I went under the bottom bunk, and for some reason, like my dad's like walked into the room.
Yes, people, welcome back to DadPod, episode 11. And today, as GCSEs and SATs are coming up for children out there, we're going to be talking about our experiences at school. So my name is NT.
I'm Chris.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Will.
Yeah. And as you may notice if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not listening to it, we have a brand spanking new set, people.
I mean, we did just kind of turn around, but
Yeah. We did,
Yeah.
the
We
effort
swapped
to- we put the
swap the
effort in.
sofa around.
Put the effort
Yeah, but you know, like when you're
Nick some toys from the kids' room.
product placement, man. Product
Yeah.
placement. But you know, like when you're a kid and you move your bedroom around and it feels like you're
Yeah,
brand
it
new
feels
room.
new.
Yeah, you got a whole new
That's how it
house.
feels.
You got like a completely new house.
It did take us about 2 hours to calm down from the excitement.
Yeah.
to get started. Yeah.
But yeah, brand new set, brand new conversations. So school,
And
man.
Bobby's grown a beard.
Yes.
Bobby has grown a
that
beard.
cannot be a go without a beard.
He's a new man. He is a new man.
New beard, new me.
He's got a beard comb and everything.
I wanted the Darren Bent look.
110% Ben.
Wow. That's a good start, lads. That's a good start.
What a show that was, by the way.
Good start.
Good times.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back on topic.
Yeah.
School times.
So, Bob's, what you saying?
He's still stuck on the Darren bend.
Apparently very bent.
How was school for you, Bobs?
Yeah. How was school for you, Bobs? What was your experience?
I hated school.
I was the echo.
I hated school with a
Primary
passion.
and secondary.
Yep, never liked it.
You didn't like
Fair
primary school?
play, man.
See,
Never liked it.
that's shocking because like I'm someone who didn't go to secondary, but I loved primary.
Yeah, I've never met anyone that didn't like primary school.
I've just never liked being in school.
Yeah, you never liked being institutionalized.
What's the
Basically,
reasons?
yeah. I think, to be honest, like I think I'm like more of like I'm more of a doer. Like I definitely have got like academic ability, but I can only really focus on stuff like that if I'm interested in it.
Yeah,
If I wasn't interested,
fair.
it just didn't work for me. So like, and then like being told like sat in a room for so long and I just don't like it.
Yeah. It's kind of like a one size fits all sort of situation.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Like that. I suppose that's the main downfall of it.
I mean, you need a system in place, don't you? But like you said,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit for. It's not a fit for everyone.
Yeah, and it's getting slightly better. But like back when we were kids, it's just like, and probably like the generation before us, even more so. It's like you got to sit down, be quiet, do your work, do your lines.
Yeah, it is slowly getting better because if you think about it, at one point back in the day at school, if you were writing with your left hand, you'd get struck.
Yeah,
do you know
but
what?
My dad's
No, I'm not
generation,
gonna
it's
lie.
like, yeah.
You see this? This is something I tell a lot of people about my dad, who was.
Yeah.
I don't, but even though he says he was a sworn Catholic, he never was. But I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
That man made me learn to write with my right hand.
Yeah.
There you
Told
go.
me
Yeah.
not to write with your left hand.
You know the Latin for left is sinister. that's
Really?
That's
yeah,
where I
yeah.
got the name. See?
There you go.
Boom. That's what I'm going to tell people where that name comes from now on.
They, like back in the early 1900s, like and before, like they thought anyone left-handed was like
the devil.
The devil, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense, to be honest. It does make a bit of sense. My son's left-handed and left-footed, and sometimes I think, woof, you give the devil a run for his money.
Yeah, man.
Have you got like any good takes from like being at school, or was it all just negative?
So I had a very, very, very good English teacher and a very, very good history teacher, and because they were so passionate about what they did,
Yeah.
and like I fed off it basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
cool.
So I did really well in those lessons. Like,
Was you interested in those lessons beforehand, before having those teachers? Or was it the teacher that got you
I was just there
interested?
because I had to do it. But like so like obviously I write poetry and stuff, and the English teacher when we were doing poetry, he was just so like on it and made it so engaging, and you could tell. It's like when somebody is like passionate about something, you pick up on their passion, even if it's not something you're not interested in. Like it's infectious, and like
That's it.
those two teachers, to be fair, like I'll never ever forget them. Like they were incredible.
A teacher can make all the difference to
100%,
kids'
man.
experience, and I suppose like the irony of you being a teacher now, or like being in education now, it's you've probably taken that into your work, haven't you?
Yeah, taking it forward.
Yeah, that
sort
to
of
be
thing.
honest, that's why I'm there, and it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense because I didn't like school.
Can you recognise the kids that are like similar to how you were at school?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So like, and because of that, I can relate to them. Like I just didn't fit in at school. Like as in, like it just didn't suit me at all.
Was that because of like you were being told that, or is it a preconceived sort of thing, if you know what I mean?
It's really, I just kind of never wanted to be there. I did everything I could to not have to
Yeah.
be.
Fair play.
I just never wanted to be there, and like I was either going out and spending time with mates or whatever, or like I did eventually, like when my dad was being threatened with fines and stuff.
Yeah.
I did eventually go in towards the end of the year, but like the last year 11, I think I probably went to about 4 lessons.
What, in the whole year?
Yeah. Did
you do your exams?
I was put in isolation. I weren't allowed in any lessons or anything.
Isolation is the worst, man.
And then-
Isolation.
And like, so basically, if I went into school, I was in isolation.
Yeah.
Like for year 11.
That's crazy.
Weren't allowed in
Do you know
lessons
what?
at all.
That reminds me of like me in year 10. I was on a reduced timetable because I just weren't turning up. Teachers used to come pick me up from my house, and I was still in my boxers. And I'd be like, and my mum given permission to come.
Slightly inappropriate.
Like, no, this is it's the truth though. I'd be in bed, still in my boxers, like, and then teachers would be knocking on my bedroom door. William, you've got to get up now, mate. You've got 10 minutes, and we're taking you in. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. And then literally, I just spent the whole time in isolation. I think isolation was the place they just disbanded all us naughty kids.
Yeah.
And the reason I use quotation marks is because yes, I was naughty, but if you actually broke it down, like Natty says it to me all the time, I was understimulated, and looking back, I'm a gifted and talented academic person. So like when it comes to putting like words on a piece of paper, I'm very quick at it. I'd finish the class's work in 15 minutes and got 45 minutes to do what? Like, of course, I'm gonna get a straw and start using spitballs across the classroom and stuff. I'm bored. What else?
Yeah.
I think the main thing from school with me was just like they didn't have nothing for me there. Like, and when I left school, I didn't know what national insurance was. I didn't know what tax was. I didn't know.
I find it like quite surprising that you were just labelled as a naughty kid and they didn't recognise that like he's finishing his work really quickly. He's got nothing to do after that. Maybe we should look at like either giving him more work, like pushing him academically, or trying to get him into
groups, isn't it?
or trying to get him into a school where his level of
Intelligence
learning
sort of, like gets met.
The problem
gets met
is,
in that.
the problem is, so like, obviously mainstream school kind of relies on a bit of conformity. So like, your low end learners and your high end learners won't get the best out of it because they're focused on the middle ground. And then imagine if a teacher's having to plan for 30 kids for each lesson, high work, low work, middle ground work, and that. Like it's it's a nightmare.
Because you're in that industry, you're able to break it down a bit better.
And, you know, it's like,
But I'm just seeing it as like they need to do better for that child.
it's like
So,
the
like-
sets don't work either, like, because I don't know if it's the same experience now, like with the schools you work at now, but I was supposed to be a set 1 student, but because I didn't get on with the teachers or because I was naughty, they just dropped me down. And eventually I was in like set 2 and set 3s, and then I'm like, I'm turning up and I'm like, you lot are killing it. I've done this work last year in set 1 and you're making me now do it again in set 2 this year. This is not, this makes no sense to me. Like,
So with mainstream education, obviously there's a lot of people in this country. So like you need something that suits the majority of people. But where they're like sort of slipping, if you like, is the alternative aspects. Like there's still so much work that needs to be done to support the people who it doesn't suit. So like with the exams now, again, like you need some form of thing that's going to suit most people to gauge where most people are at. But then you've got learners who are more than capable of achieving great things, but because they can't sit in an exam, that's going to be held against them for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, there was a lad at our school. If you remember, he was like top of his class in absolutely everything. Tim.
Tennis player.
Yeah. Absolutely top in everything. Like, and come to exam time, he just melted. he just
Couldn't
like
stand the pressure,
went
man.
to
Yeah.
and it was so like
It's harsh. It's harsh in a way, isn't it? Like,
they did make exceptions because they knew how intelligent he was.
Did they put more emphasis on his like coursework?
Yeah.
To be fair,
It's not based on coursework anymore.
yeah,
it's
it's literally a straight exam.
Mad.
Unless you do a BTEC, they still use some of the coursework. I know that because I got a U on my childcare exam, but I passed with no overall merit because I got a distinction on the coursework. I only wrote so
Got a U
on the exam. I
crashed the car, but I still got my driving license.
That's basically what happened. No, I wrote my name on my exam paper, but I didn't want to do childcare. It was one of the subjects they forced me to do because I told my statistics teacher where to shove it because she got an equation wrong. And I said, Miss, that's not the right equation. Got up and corrected it because she wouldn't correct it. And then she kicked me out of the class. And when I came back in, my equation on the board said, are you taking the... And that was it. That was it. She said, I'm not teaching that kid again. So they shipped me off to childcare, the only one with free space. I didn't want to do it, so I copied another student's coursework from like 3 years ago. So the teacher literally come up to me and went, you don't want to be here.
Man did the old school chat GPT.
Shout out my teacher and that. If I go back to that school every so often and I've shown this teacher DadPod, so if you are watching, shout out you know who you are. I'm not going to say your name before the exam boards come and do you in. I got given exam work from a student 3 years ago. She gave me literally, she come up to me and went, you don't want to be here, do you? I went, no. She went, right, copy all of this. Slapped a whole load of coursework, a big book of it. She went, write it, just change 1 or 2 words, submit it, flunk the exam. It doesn't matter, you'll pass.
Yeah.
I did it. I walked out with a merit in childcare. I couldn't tell you the first thing about childcare.
Crazy.
I can't tell you the first thing about childcare, but I walked out. But it is all exam based. And what they did for me, because
It's good as a dad.
I know,
You
that's
didn't
just
know
insane.
nothing about
Nothing
childcare.
about childcare.
brilliant stuff.
This is DadPod, right?
I know the physical stuff about childcare. I can't tell you all of the what do they call it? Fine motor movements and all them extra bits.
Fine motor skills.
Yeah, that's it. Fine motor skills. There we go. See, I know a few things.
Distinction for you, bro.
Yeah, if I got a merit, you're a distinction. You are.
Was it your working copy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't cope
Won't
in
be
the
3 years
exams.
ago.
I didn't cope well in the exams either because the exam halls. I'm very I'm what they class as borderline autistic / Asperger's, which is basically high functioning autistic. So I used to get distracted very quickly as well, and seeing all these people, I used to start throwing things across the exam hall. And like when I finished, what would happen was I'd finish my exam like half hour before everyone else, and I'd start bricking it like, I've done something wrong here. Everyone else is... Thing is, my exam was an A-star exam until I started crossing things out. And this is what my teacher spotted on my mocks because I was crossing things out and redoing. I had the right answer in crosses and the wrong answer written down. And it's because I was overthinking it constantly. I'm looking around, everyone else is still struggling and I'm there like, I'm finished. So they moved me into a separate room.
Trust your instinct.
I had a room to myself. I was sat in a room on my own with this woman, and she must have been like one of them, what they call invigilators.
Yeah.
So it
I was going to
me
say TA, but yeah.
Me and the invigilator was in the room, and that was it. And when I finished my exam, I was allowed to go on to break, even if I finished early.
Yeah.
So like, if I finished my exam half hour early, instead of me being sat there overthinking it, I got dismissed from the exam.
Yeah.
As long as I said, yeah, sweet, I'm done.
Yeah.
Boom, I'm willing to sacrifice that extra half hour time. I was on break time, so that's how they made arrangements for me. But I don't know if they do that still now or not.
They do make it. They do make sort like certain access arrangements and that, but it's not really like it. And it does help. There are some like extra time for people who like process things a bit slower and that. But like as a general for for a kid who struggles to be in one place for like an hour, imagine putting them in an hour and a half, 2 hour exam, and then they've got to sit there and get this stuff done that they half the time they haven't been in the lessons.
Yeah.
But then you get on the flip side of that, you get some kids who seem like they're never listening but retain everything.
Yeah, I was that kid. I was literally like physics. I went to like 3-4 lessons. Shout out to Mr. Sangera, sick geezer. I only went to like 4 lessons, and the reason he got me to go to them lessons was because he told me about his property portfolio. He clocked I like business and money, so he's like, "Oh look, I'll show you my property portfolio and show you what you can do if you get your A in physics."
Yeah.
And that exam was like 2 hours long. I only sat like 45 minutes of it because I was finished, and it was my highest graded exam. So them letting me out after that 45 minutes saying, "Yo, I'm done," is probably the reason I got the A, because otherwise I would have went back and started questioning all my equations and my maths and everything else in there. But I got an A in 45 minutes. So I'm with you on it. Like putting a kid in a room that can't really sit still for 20 minutes like me, it's not going to work out, is it? Making them sit a 2 hour long exam.
And like the other side of it, and I'm sure we'll go, because you two did things probably more the mainstream way. Like
We were, compared to you two, we were like golden balls. We followed the rules and everything.
You are about it.
And that's probably why you two are the only people that have gone uni in this room.
But like, so like, I'm even like sort of working now. If I'm left to my own devices, I get things done, and I can often when I like hyper focus on something, often I'll get things done like 10 times faster than it would be expected to be done. But then the other side of that is as well, it's like I'm not afraid to ask a question. If I'm not sure about something, I will just go and ask it.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of people struggle with that, don't they?
So I'm like, I need to get this done.
I had to learn to do that.
So I do it. Like, it's as simple as that. But so you had to talk about your experience. Obviously, we've started off with the sort of unconventional side. So
what about the conventional side?
Yeah, what
of
was
school?
your experience like, Chris?
I mean, I feel like I was quite lucky in school because I could mess about and then just wing the exams and I still passed. So like, I feel like really lucky in that respect, because like I'd like to say
that's the first time I've ever heard a ginger kid say they were lucky at school.
It's because I'm not ginger, mate.
Oh, he's touched a nerve.
I'm not ginger.
Something a ginger would say.
I'm strawberry blonde.
My mum used to say that.
No, go on.
No, I feel like I only really wanted to be there to play football, and like that. I'd be in the school football team and play football on break and that, and then the rest of it, like you make your mates and stuff like that. You have a laugh, and then the school work sort of came at the bottom of the. I suppose it does for every kid. Really.
Yeah, it was
like,
last priority.
It's more of a social sort of thing. Yeah, and that was definitely the case for uni. In hindsight, I wish I didn't actually go to uni, but like the life experience was great. But like in
everything
terms
else, you didn't get.
Yeah, it was,
you just got left with debt.
Yeah, exactly.
See, this is why I didn't go to uni, because all my friends are like near their 40s now. And every single one of them that's been uni has literally told me they're still paying their uni debt. Yeah. Their jobs have nothing to do with their uni degree.
Mine
your kind of does. So you're like an exception to that rule. But Natty, was your uni degree anything to do with your job?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. I've got a friend who's done bio
at uni?
Business marketing.
Yeah, that's what I did. And
see, that has nothing to do with your job, bro. Really true. You might have learned some skills that are transferable.
When I finished uni, like what I learned about marketing
just flew out your head.
It's not even relevant now.
This is what well, true, you guys didn't have phones, did you? You was still calling on rocks, weren't you?
Well, when I was in my third year, like Facebook was only like coming out.
It was coming out to you lot as well, only in the uni students.
Like, when we were at uni, it was all about MySpace.
My job didn't even exist
while you was in uni. And the thing is, I've got a friend who's done biomedical science, and I spoke to him about what he's thinking about doing, and he was like, well, I don't actually know, but my plan B is to become the manager at Poundland, where he's currently working. I'm like, so you've just spent 4 to 5 years grafting your like backside off, putting yourself in tons of debt to become a manager at Poundland. Not cussing the manager at Poundland. Shout out all Poundland managers, you're amazing people. But if you've gone uni to become a manager at Poundland, there's
you should have just not gone.
There's a disconnect.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, depend. It's tough to say things like that because
well, you could do business management.
to be honest, I don't know anyone who's used their degree. To be honest with you, like two of my cousins went to their dad was fairly well off, and they went to like a private school and that public boarding school sort of thing. And they did really well at school, like top grades for everything, top grades at A levels. Went to uni, did things like politics and all that kind of stuff. And then like one of them now is like an area manager for a coffee chain up north. And then the other one's teaching in Thailand, and it's like
fair play.
And it's like
Fair play.
and it's got nothing to do with their education, but maybe that's made them realise that they're happier doing something else. Do you know what I mean? So like the experience of it, like I do fully get it. The experience of it's good. But then I feel like we're all creatives as well, though. Yeah. So I feel like anything we do can just immediately become irrelevant
anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we'll take from it what we need, and we're like we don't need to sort of follow a system to build up a way of thinking.
Yeah.
In the sense of like we're creative, we'll think on the spot. We think visually, you know.
That's it, and I think that's probably how I winged it through school. Is just like adapting all the time, just being able to think creatively.
Well, mate, I managed to pass my GCSEs. Like I was barely there, but I still managed to pass.
What about you, Natty? What was school like for you?
So school for me, primary school, I absolutely loved primary school. Like, couldn't have a bad word to say about it. Like, it was brilliant.
You love all the god bangers and that.
The god bangers.
Yeah. Did you go to the C of E
assemblies?
No, I just went to a normal.
I went to C of E school, like sitting in the assembly, cross-legged.
Yeah, cross.
Don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. Like assembly, all the like Christian hymns, all the Christian bangers used to come
Question:
out.
Did you guys still get hit in primary school? Like, I'm not saying
We're
you're
not
that
that
old,
old,
but
mate.
Was the sticks in the thing?
Did you get the cane?
No, basically. No, but like, no, because my mum got hit in school, and she's only like almost 60 now.
What is this guy on?
I know you
How
guys
old do you think we are?
I know you guys aren't almost 60, like 20
You
years
nearly
younger
made
than my
me
mum.
contribute to the swear jar a lot then.
Wow.
If anyone doesn't see Will for a while, don't question it.
No, I was just thinking, like, because
My
Will.
mum is nearly 60.
So for context,
So was
Will,
it for you?
You are now
What?
comparing us to the same age bracket as your mum.
no, but you
Your hairline's closer to us than your mum's.
that's a swear jar. I've just swear jarred for you.
I'm quite
For reference, hairline.
Oh no!
But
You got a hairline and a mum.
Oh my
no,
god,
seriously, no, I didn't.
That was school, right?
that was school. Took me back, man, to technology.
I was thinking like, because,
Oh, we got to go into.
I was thinking no, because obviously I knew you wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't have by the time you got to secondary school. But maybe we was in the early transition days because your parents could still slap you when you was in primary school, right?
Well, no. Well,
But
it
yeah,
depends
your
on your
parents.
parenting
Yeah, obviously it depends
style.
on your
Yeah.
parents' parenting style, but it wasn't against law to slap your child then, was it? Like nowadays,
Probably
it's
not,
not
no.
against
No,
child.
it's not against law to smack your child now.
Yeah,
here
but it's
still.
against law to mark on, whereas when I was a
Yeah,
kid,
of course.
you could get marked
that's
and no
different.
problems. There was no problems. I could go to
Okay,
school with a bruise on my
to
hand.
give you some
Because your
context,
mum
Will,
slapped you.
this is the generation. Well, this is the time I went to primary school. So we used to have a Halloween disco and some other discos throughout the year, and the parents would love the disco more than
they
the
get drunk.
kids because they could bring their own alcohol in there, they could smoke in there, and they could just stagger home with their children.
You know what? I was dumbfounded when I
After.
found out they only banned smoking in public places when I was like 6 or 7. I was like, so they could do that when I was born.
Mate.
Crazy.
Is
How young is this
is
guy?
he having a laugh?
No, I know
I
you
was
guys.
working at the Oak.
No, I know.
when they-
I know you guys.
I came home stinking
That
of
wasn't even-
fags.
That wasn't even a shot.
Stinking
No, that
of
wasn't even a
cigarettes.
shot.
Like after a shift.
That was even 7.
Are you still watching Teletubbies now?
I genuinely wasn't even sending them. Like
Oh
literally,
my
I just
days.
remember. Like I can vaguely remember my mum used to go upstairs on the bus with us as kids because that's where you could smoke. And my mum's a chain smoker, and if she's watching this, you are a chimney. I love you, but you're a chimney.
I think your mum was having you on, man, because from a very young age for me, you couldn't smoke on the bus.
Was it?
Yeah.
My mum used to go upstairs and the people were smoking on the bus still. Obviously, I smoked on the bus
No,
when I was
that's just the
14.
11. That's still a crime.
Shout out to number 11. No, but like, I know I used to smoke on buses, which I probably shouldn't have. Well, I definitely shouldn't have because it was completely banned. But they only ban it in public places when I was like a nipper, innit? Like when I was little. I know you guys was big and I was little, but like,
There's a joke in there somewhere. But I'm not going to go there.
like, no, but like,
It wasn't 2 weeks
so
ago.
I'm just trying to gauge what area you went to school in because obviously,
All right,
remember,
so the punishments at my primary school were you'd get a warning, and then if you continued after that, you'd get sent out of class. If what you were doing was really bad, you'd get sent out of class and then get sent to the head teacher.
did the head teacher give you a smack?
No.
Okay.
No one.
No,
No
teachers could
no
lay their hands
teachers.
on
No, I was just
were
I had, a
hitting
teacher, I had a
pupils.
teacher get me in a headlock.
We're going to come back to that.
Yeah,
I want to know why he's
Why
getting you
and
a headlock.
how?
Yeah. But yeah, those were the punishments. And if the head teacher would then tell you off, but if you'd done really bad, then the following day you would spend all your lessons in the head teacher's office.
With a bruised backside because
Yeah.
your mum smacked your bottom.
No.
Someone's got to have smacked you at some point. Like,
No one is getting hit.
What's he saying about your fade?
So basically, yeah, that was the punishment. And then if you were really bad, you'd get suspended or expelled. But I only know of one child in primary school to ever get expelled.
what was the difference between exclusion and suspension when you was in school? Because for me, it was possibly different.
So suspension for me, I don't know about primary school because I don't know any child that got suspended.
I did.
But to go back to the kid that did get expelled, it was over a number of things, and one of the things I remember vividly.
So does expelled for you mean permanent?
Yeah,
They're
he's
gone?
gone.
Suspended
He's
for
gone.
2 days.
He's
Okay,
gone.
cool.
He's gone to another school at
Yeah,
expulsion.
yeah. See, this is what I was trying to
Yeah.
work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So this what happened? What I'm about to talk about, what happened, like, was accounted for why he got expelled. So
the final straw.
yeah. So like when we were in like I think year 4, year 5, they used to give us homework for over the weekend. I think it's the equivalent of when your kid brings like the teddy home now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they have
yeah.
to talk about what they did with the teddy bear. Yeah, but what we had to do was on the Monday we'd have to write about what we did on the weekend, and then we'd then read it out to the class. this kid, his name was Martin. Shout out to Martin, man, he was hilarious. But
Martin, isn't it?
everyone,
baited him.
yeah. I haven't seen him for like 20 odd years.
And now you're
But,
going to see him after this episode. please.
But like everyone's reading out their stuff like, oh, played in the park, we played football, like we went on trips and stuff. And he was like, on the weekend I played with my train set, and then my let me go again. He was like, on the weekend I played with my train set, and then my brother broke it, so I called him a
Is that swear jar? Is that swear jar?
Martin knows your swear jar.
yes. I'll gladly take it.
Bet you would.
Pause.
But honestly, the look on the teacher's face, like he did not know what to do with him, because he just casually read it out and said it like it was just a normal word.
See, the reason I asked you the difference between expelled and suspended for you
Yeah.
is because I got excluded like 20 times from the same school.
All right.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
a suspension was anything up to 3 days. Exclusion was anything longer than 3 days. Permanent exclusion is when you're now
Okay.
moved.
For us,
So
it
there
was
was
just
there was
suspension,
Just 2 levels.
exclusion. Yeah.
Like, so I got excluded almost. Like, I'd
How
come
can
home
you
from
get excluded more than once for the
And
same
every
thing?
time
That's
you
weird.
get this is the thing is every time you get excluded, your mum has to come in, and it got to a point my mum would probably just. I reckon she didn't even go to the bus stop. She'd just wait
First-time
outside
basis.
with a fag because she knew within about 10 minutes she was going to get a phone call to say, yeah, he's just gone and got himself excluded again. I hated school, so any reason to stay off it without my mum getting fined, I did.
Yeah.
If that meant kicking a teacher
For
in the
me,
shins, I kicked a
for
teacher
me,
in the shins.
those sort of rules with expulsion is a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, because they're
'Cause,
just
like,
sending me home to have
It's just
fun.
like, oh yeah, I'll be back like
In
after
3
a bit.
days.
Yeah, like
It's a quick little sentence, and it's like
the
time
like
at school, isn't it?
the punishment of if you're excluded, that's it. You are gone. Like
Yeah.
you ain't gonna see them group of friends again, and you've gone from that school.
When you're in the upper years as well, like those kids that got excluded, they're just waiting at the
Nah,
school
this
gates.
is the thing is,
On
my
their
mum
bikes and
never, my mum never used to be able to fathom it. Yeah, on a normal day, if I weren't excluded, I didn't want to go to school. Didn't want to be there. If I was excluded, I was there bang on time in the morning to see my friends, and then when they went to school, I'd go home. And I'd be there 10 minutes before school finished. My mum could not fathom what was wrong with me. She was like, so when they tell you not to go, you want to be there. You want to see all your friends and you go there. When they tell you to go, you kick someone in the shins.
See, I disagree with exclusion, and I think that should only be an absolute last resort.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the kids, like,
I agree with that as well.
so for a kid who's got all sorts going on at home, like, you know, let's say their parents are drug users or something, do you think they care about going in for however many lessons and behaving all day? Or
They ain't gonna be able to concentrate anyway.
exactly, and then like, so you think saying, oh yeah, you're not coming back for a few days, like you're just isolating them further.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's-
they're probably just lashing out for like a cry for help or.
And they don't even
sort of-
realise they're doing it. So
yeah.
like, and the thing is, I'd probably say, to be
That's
fair,
a really
like,
good point. To be fair, man.
So I had like, obviously I had more stuff going on when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for Will. But we sort of like, we probably could have just got on with it. We just didn't suit us.
Yeah.
But whereas there's some kids who literally rely on school as their only part of normality.
solace.
Yeah.
And
some
it's
of them,
security,
for
and
some
it-
kids, it's their only meal as
It's
well
a-
and stuff
yeah,
like that. Their
yeah,
only
exactly,
hot meal in the day. Like,
exactly.
at one point, it got like that for me because the benefit cap came in place and my mum was struggling to like work out how she was going to afford everything from that big drop in benefits. And like the best meal I had was at school.
Yeah.
So, and for some kids that is the case, man. It literally is like,
Yeah.
so they have got, I think, in order for them to become, what's that word, more forward, I don't know what they say now, progressive, that's it.
Progressive.
But in order for them to become more progressive, they need to start analysing the child's background. Because
But you know, the thing is as well, though, man. Prevention's better than cure, but
yeah.
it's almost impossible because then then you've got some kids. Let's say there's a kid involved who's like in a drug family, and their whole family are drug dealers, right? To get that kid out of that,
It's
you've got
hard.
to ask them to ditch their whole family.
and you've also kind of got to ask them to snitch on their
And
family.
like,
to
and we're all
authorities.
we're all
It's not
we're all
happening.
a product of our environment. So like whatever we grew up with is normal to us.
Yeah.
So like trying to convince someone otherwise, like especially as a kid, and
They don't know any other way, so like you said, it's just normal to
and
them.
then if you try and exclude them from normal society, because that's what you're doing. If you take a kid out of school,
You're taking away
excluding
that
them from
little bit and-
society, essentially.
Yeah.
so and then you can never expect progression. Then
Yeah.
This is true.
so I read like obviously the
play.
school I'm in does sweep up some of that problem, like
Yeah.
because we will pick those kids up. But
Fair play, man.
All right, so we spoke about like our parents in school. Like
Yeah.
I said, my mom coming to what sort of pressures did your parents put on you guys for exams, going to school, knowing what you was gonna do when you left school and this and that? What sort of pressures was put on you by your parents?
I don't think I
yeah, not
really,
much pressure was put on me. to
didn't
be
really
fair.
get much pressure now.
No.
I
I think I needed more pressure, to be honest.
do you?
Yeah, because I'm so laid back anyway. Like I think I needed a bit more pressure from my mum and dad. But I think because I've got an older sister and she done quite well at school and like she was like quite on it, they thought I would kind of fall into that same category Whereas,
Like follow suit sort of thing.
yeah, whereas to be honest, secondary school, I absolutely hated it, man. I thought I call it like light prison.
No, it is.
Because it's just horrible. You put in like a load of hormonal kids in one building and trying to get them, trying to get them to like get an education and also learn about like social situations and navigate life as well.
Yeah.
While they're like growing and developing like physically and hormonally and stuff like.
So what you're saying is you wish
nightmare.
you had a bit more pressure put on you.
Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more pressure. I wish they kind of like instilled how like kind of important it is to get like certain grades and stuff like that. Because like, I got it to an extent, but I weren't that interested in school. Like I did it because I knew that I needed to do it and I needed an education and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like they instilled in me that like if I get in trouble, then I'm in big trouble when I get home. So like I never got in trouble at school and stuff like that. But yeah, when it comes to like exams and stuff like that and like revising,
Just
like
do the
I
best you
just
can and that's
I
it,
was
sort
just
of.
like, oh, I'll revise a little bit like the day before and then
Yeah.
I'll just wing it and
Yeah,
see
was
what happens.
Same with me. Man.
Yeah.
I suppose like I'd agree with that. Like I wish maybe got pushed a little bit more, but my parents were always like, we whatever you want to do, we'll be supportive and we'll try and
Be there
do
for
what we
you,
can.
like,
Yeah.
So like when I got into music and that, they bought me some equipment. Like my sister's a singer, like they bought her a load of equipment. Just to like get us started, and then like when we started earning a bit more money,
You can get
do
your
it
own
ourselves.
and do it up and
Just like being supportive in that way, and my dad would always take me to every single football game, to the point that the teachers at school would try and take the out of me for your dad's always there watching you. I was like, yeah, I
love that. Yeah, standard.
my dad's my hero, so like I want him to be there.
Yeah, standard procedure,
So,
man.
like, and then he was like, oh, okay.
I might have a comment to make, but first, before I make my comment, Bobby, what was the pressures like for you from your parents on exams and school?
We'll come back to that in a sec, as well as the headlock.
Yes.
Okay,
Gotta come
yes.
back to that head.
But I want to ask you both something now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You both just said you wish you had a bit more pressure put on you. What do you think would be different in your life right now? Since you did go through your GCSEs, you went to college, you went to uni. What do you think would be different right now if you did have that bit more pressure?
I think I would probably be in the profession that I kind of wanted to get into when I was younger. So when I was at school, like in at the age of like 14, 15, I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And you know what? I still think that you should be a psychiatrist, by the way, guys.
Thanks, Will.
he's really good at it.
But I never got the grades at GCSE level to then
Okay, that makes sense.
Pursue the A level and
do
so on.
the A levels and then pursue it at uni and stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough. What about you?
I think mainly like disciplining with myself, like sort of, because I'm very easily distracted, and I'll just wait until the last minute and then rush.
Just in time, jobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like and like it shows with the way I revised and stuff like that. I just like winging a lot of stuff. Whereas like if I had that discipline instilled from early, then I probably would have pushed myself, learned to push myself a lot more than I did. Like I pushed myself a lot, and I've achieved quite a lot in certain areas. But I know with the talent that I got, I could have done more.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Like you can look back and say like I could have done more.
Yeah.
But I look back when you can just do more
Keep
right
looking-
now.
Yeah.
Keep looking
That's
forward.
That is
more
very
right
true.
now.
Yeah.
Very
What
That is
I was
very
going to
true.
go on is, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pressure do you reckon you got given, Bobs?
My dad was on my
So
case.
10 out of 10 roughly,
Yeah.
yeah? How much would you say in that?
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah,
Chris,
it was
around 6 or
6,
7.
yeah.
But I'd say up until the stage my mom said, that's it, this kid ain't going to listen, it was 10 out of 10 for me. And the reason why I think this is relevant is me and Bobby were the ones that didn't get on.
Yeah.
You two were the ones that got
Didn't get on at school.
Yeah, at school. We get on in person. I love Bob's, man. Couldn't be without my Bob's.
Don't tell him.
Yeah, so there's a fine balance is
you
what
see
you
what
get.
I was trying to get at is you guys had the lesser pressure and was more free-willed as young people and able to sort
don't
of...
get me wrong. Like I think my parents did a great job with me and my sister. And,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
We've turned out.
Yeah,
Really
they give you like,
well.
I'd personally say from my perspective on the outside in on what I've been told by you guys, the pressure that your parents gave you was probably just right because you two both came out of school perfect, good record, like so. Well, maybe not perfect. You might have had a few discrepancies throughout, but you did quite well with the school and got through it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like
me and Bob's rebelled, and I think that's also. For me, I think part of the reason I rebelled wasn't just because of school, but also because my mum's at home, like stamping on my neck every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Not literally, by the way, before anyone calls child support, child on, like, whatever.
I'll never forget right at the time. So
Talk about stamping on
But
neck.
you got put in a headlock.
I was about to say this headlock. I want to get on with this headlock. I want to know.
Headlock, but I'll never forget the time.
You're keeping the people hooked.
So I used to make my dad think I was going to school. So I'd leave for school. Go
Did he
up
put
the
you in a
road,
headlock?
Get someone to go in the shop for me. Get 10 sovereign.
Oh my days! You can't even get 10 days
Come back
anymore.
down.
See, I'd be going in the shop getting minstrels.
Come back down the road. Wait to see my dad's van pull off. Then I'd walk round through the park just to make sure, and I'd tuck the back door key with me. So then I'd climb over my back gate, go back into my house, and go back to bed. And then play Xbox or whatever. But I'll never forget the one time my dad's like just turned up, but I didn't hear his van pull up. I just heard the door open, and I'm there like I'm on the top bunk, Xbox on, TV on, everything. I've somehow managed to turn it off, and I just I was genuinely playing Football Manager far more important. So like I've gone like Motley Championship Manager 0102.
Oh my days!
And then I've gone. So then I've managed to like really quietly get off the top bunk, and I went under the bottom bunk. And for some reason, like my dad's like walked into the room and just sort of like. I don't know what he did because I was holding on the bed, absolutely crapping myself.
It probably felt like there's a presence in the house.
And he's opened the door and I'm just like, oh my God. And I was just trying not to breathe and everything while I was there. And then the worst thing was then he went and had a nap, which was in the room next door. I'm like...
So he was skiving from work. Pair of skivers.
Like, if he'd have caught me, he'd have absolutely battered me. Like, forget the whacking stick, man. I'd have been in trouble. It would have been game over, man. Yeah. Like, but yeah, so then I had to wait for him to leave the house again. I think I was lying under that bed for like 2 hours.
You should have just had a nap myself.
Yeah, just lying there crapping myself for 2 hours.
I think this is a great segue to the crazy stuff that went on in
I want to know
what
what happened with the headlock.
Yes.
Yeah.
The headlock is going to
because
start
this headlock has
Right,
been
do you
playing
know
on my
what?
mind since you first spoke about it.
So obviously, without context, that sounds absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, teacher put me in a headlock.
However, this teacher
Teacher put you in a headlock.
and yeah.
Did you ever put the teacher in a headlock?
So this teacher, he did get sacked eventually.
For that reason.
Not for that particular reason. So like,
He got an award for that.
it was years later. So basically, like he was known for like he'd like sort of like he was ex-army, and he used to like he was a proper bloke, and all the kids respected him. Like, and you only ever sort of got in trouble with him once, sort of thing, because he'd get you in a headlock.
Yeah.
But but that's like I was like proper going at him the one day, like giving him cheek and everything. So he just gets me in this headlock, and he's like, "What did you say? What did you say? He wasn't doing nothing. Just had me in a headlock. I couldn't do nothing. It's massive, like." But then I just didn't ever do it again, and I respected him so much for that.
Yeah.
But then he ended up basically that was his teaching style. And he wasn't. He definitely wasn't malicious. He definitely wasn't malicious. But then he ended up getting sacked for it because obviously people are
can't do that, man.
stuff like that now. And obviously the thing is, you could accidentally hurt someone, but you could easily also accidentally knock into a kid walking down the corridor.
Did anybody else get into a situation with a teacher which either that teacher got sacked later on, or sacked for that incident, or something similar to that incident.
What do you think,
So
Will?
on. Well, you two probably didn't, but I did.
One of like our head teacher in year 7 and 8 got sacked, but
Why did they get-
it wasn't for like doing
Did she?
anything. He,
Did he?
yeah, don't you remember?
Oh, our head teacher.
Yeah,
Oh,
he-
yeah, that was a
yeah,
big
yeah.
scandal. That was.
Yeah,
What did he do?
it weren't for nothing to do with the kids.
Right, Natty's
Thank
wide
God.
eyes
Yeah.
made me want to know what that big scandal was, because now I'm thinking
So,
like some bizarre
yeah,
thoughts.
He got caught with the receptionist, the
In his-
secretary
In
work.
his office.
in his office doing the bizzo.
Bonk.
doing the
Like,
bizzo.
big up him,
Was
you
it,
know.
was it
big
the
up him.
deputy head that caught you?
I don't know. There was a rumor that it was one of like the year 11s, but it weren't.
No, it won't
It
appear.
worked in year 11.
Because
okay.
it was like after school.
Yeah, but you can still be a
apparently,
student after school. You know that, right?
when- Yeah, no,
That's
but like
mental.
People can
late.
stay back.
Nah, but yeah, he was doing the bizzo. With
That was
the-
a big
with the
scandal, man. Like it was in the newspaper and everything.
To
That
be
was.
fair, my teacher that got sacked, I actually feel for her because I drove her to get sacked, and she got sacked because of me. Well, her actions, but because of me. So I wound her up, and then she ended up trying to lock us in at lunch. I said, "You can't do that. That's starvation. You can't do that. I
Yeah.
need to eat, mate." And I've tried to get past the door. She stood by the door. Then she put her
Yeah.
foot by the door, so I yanked the door off her foot. I said, "No, I don't care, man." Pulled this door. Next thing you know, she's dashed something at me. So I've gone, "What are you doing?" And I've started
Lost
losing
her
my
head.
Next thing you know, she's pushed me into the door and slammed the door off me.
She's
innit?
proper
Like,
lost her head.
The back,
Yes,
of,
she
the,
really
the back
has.
of the door handle smacked me in it. Like, and
She
then
got the red mist.
Oh, I
still
can't
got-
believe she didn't get a pay rise.
she's got like I think she deserved it, to be honest, like the pay rise, like, because she had 20 other kids all going, fight, Will, knock her out. I'm like, I'm not trying to knock her out. I just want to go get lunch, mate. And I'm being abused now. And next thing you know, it was kind of crazy because everyone made. I'm from the era where phones and cameras were on your phone and you could take videos. Everyone's filming and getting marshalled off by the police and everything. Going, child
I keep
abuse,
thinking you're
child
saying that
abuse,
from the
child
age.
Do you know
abuse.
what's
Area.
mad? Do you know what's mad?
Yeah, the era.
Yeah, the era. It's the
Do you know
area
what's
I'm from that
absolutely
makes me sound
mental?
like that.
So like you would say that you were a roadman back in the day.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
you got
I
this
was just a-
roadman mentality. No, we don't snitch, man. We don't snitch. As soon as a teacher says something,
Yeah. We're straight on
could
it.
slightly
We're
upset you.
straight on them. We'll
I'm
snitch on
telling.
them, though.
I'm
We have
telling.
no-
I'm telling. You can't say that.
You know what it is? The roadmen
They're not on the road anymore, are
Yeah,
they?
The
it's not
roadmen
the
will
road,
snitch on
man.
each other, but you see the teacher, yeah, you'll get. I will
Yeah.
write a whole testimony and stand up in court against you, love.
Do you know what? There's some mad stuff that goes on in
It's like
school.
the pirate
Yeah.
code. That
Do you remember in our year there was a guy that got that started like a dinner ticket thing.
Didn't it? Well,
So basically, when we were at school, some kids had paid dinners and they would get issued a dinner ticket,
Oh yeah.
and this dinner ticket would give you a certain amount, and then you could buy your dinner with it.
yeah.
So how you'd get them is you'd go up to a certain office and then you'd say your name and then they'd tick you off and then give you your ticket, you 5 tickets for the week. So this guy saw an opportunity one day when he was in there getting his, because they'd left the roll out.
So you just took the whole roll.
So he's took the roll and then he started selling them around school. So
Sick
the
guy.
dinner ticket I think was worth about $1.90 and he was selling them for £1.
Yeah, standard. Like he's getting free money here. Like
And he had like a whole like rig going on. So like,
How cheap was food back then?
yeah, I know, yeah.
yeah, £1.90.
That's like for your break and for your lunch.
I know,
That's
yeah.
crazy. That is.
So like you'd go into his
There was your man who done the
form
tuck
room.
shop as well.
Yeah.
Done his own tuck shop because his parents had a convenience store.
you'd go,
I feel like everybody had that one kid
Yeah.
that sold Lucozade.
but there was a couple of them in our year.
I was the fag dealer. I sold fags in school, man.
And like back in the day, yeah, thinking about it now, wasn't it so obvious what like bearing in mind the smell, like take the smell away from it, wasn't it so obvious the pupils that actually smoked?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because they'd all just be at the tennis court the whole
Yeah,
break.
Yeah, you'd always be in one corner, like, and not obviously if you take away the smell, because my generation decided we was going to start using aftershave and spray our fingers and stuff and mints, and it kind of somewhat worked because teachers thought my brother was not a smoker and he smoked the most out of everybody. But like we're all in one spot. And it's like the teachers know as well. They know. There's no way they don't see it. If everybody else knows, oh yeah, that's the smokers gang, the teachers also know that that's the smoke. They just leave it to it. Like, have your de-stress. They probably going off for a fag themselves, to be honest.
My days. But on another note, like I feel like even though I didn't like school, I didn't like secondary school, I feel like it molded me and it kind of built the social aspect of things, like how
very
to
character building.
like how to interact with other kids and how to interact with adults and stuff like that.
How to deal with like banter and like,
exactly,
and
and like the opposite sex as well.
Oh yeah,
relationships and stuff in school.
The biggest thing I took from it was it made me determined to find my own way.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I took from it.
All right, then on that note, then, as dads now, what's one thing you would say to your children about school? Like to either encourage them or even discourage them if you're still anti-school, but yeah.
My thing is try best.
Try it. But
And again, say to the girls, like,
as in like what
try
would you
the
say
best
as
at
their key
school. So like,
takeaway?
if there's something they can't do, that's all right. Like,
Okay.
I want them to do the best they can at school because they're there. They have to be there.
Yeah, of course.
So you might, and I say it to the kids now, like I was there.
T16.
I could. Now you're 18.
18 now.
No, it's 18 now. You have to be.
So you have to go to further
Yeah,
education
so
after
when you
GCSE.
leave
Or
school,
work unless
you have
you've
to
got
either get a
guaranteed
job.
work, can't drop out.
You have to
Fair
either get
play.
a full-time apprenticeship or a part-time job. It has to be 16 hours minimum. You have to be in work or you go to college.
So
Right, okay.
So I've lost my thought now.
Sorry, mate.
Try your best.
Yeah.
At everything you can do. You have to be there anyway. So
Yeah, so I say to the kids now, like, for me now, I could have done better at school. I could have probably completed college, and I possibly could have got into something I liked sooner than I did. It took me 10 years at least to get a job that I actually enjoyed doing. So I say to them, you are here, so just make the most of it. So like, school's not a bad thing, and if you can use it, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, it just turns out it wasn't for me. But because of my experience, I still know now that it's still worth it,
Yeah.
as well as being determined for my own way. So that's what I say to the girls. Like, I'm never ever gonna push them into something that they really don't want to do.
So you tell them to just try their best.
Yeah, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Fair
No,
play.
Mine would probably be like similar to Bobby's, but like it'd be make the most of it. So like use school to your advantage. So make the most of the classes and the education that they're providing for you, and as well like use that time to kind of have an idea and figure out what you want to do later on in life. It doesn't matter whether it's something that's going to get you a lot of money. It doesn't matter if it's just something really creative. Just figure out what you want to do, because with me, when the psychiatrist thing fell through, I didn't have a plan B. Like I was just kind of riding the wave of, I'm going to do this, and then the era that I'm from, everyone was going to uni because it was the student loan thing. So I was like, let me go to uni as well. Yeah, and I was just kind of rolling with it and didn't really have a plan.
So you time to find.
I never had a plan A.
Yeah,
Genuinely, I never had a plan A.
So you time to make a plan A, B,
I think whether you had a plan or not, I think we're all still winging it.
Everyone's still winging
You'll
it.
always wing life, no matter what.
No, nothing in life goes to plan, does it really? But yeah, what I would say was, what the take from it I'd want them to have is make the most of it and figure out, have an idea of what you want to do.
Okay, that's a really good piece.
Yeah.
Chris, what would you say to your little ones?
I think like being happy is the main important thing for me.
No one ever teaches you that. No one ever teaches you that.
And I said this to my lad the other week, because we were driving back through like Little Aston, back from my sister's house, and we went through Little Aston, and there's like mansions.
Yeah,
and
the rich spot where the ballers
crazy,
live in it.
Yeah, and my son was like, oh, these houses are massive. Like, I'm gonna live in one of these when I'm older. And I said to him, like, they cost a lot of money, so
you have to work hard, and
and then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna have I'm gonna get lots of money when I'm gonna be rich when I'm older, so I can live in one of these houses. And I said that would be great, but the most important thing for me as your dad, I just want you to be happy. As long as you're happy, then that's everything else. So I suppose to quote my old mate Alaska, what a Donny he was.
What a guy, man.
He was such the most positive geezer I've ever met. American, of course. Like, I met him through music, but he always used to say to me, like, do what you love, drop everything else.
That's a good one. That is. Yeah. That's a good one.
So, like, just making sure that that you're happy in what you're doing, and like anything that my kids are struggling with, I'll say, like, just come to me and we'll find a way of making it make sense. Because I suppose, like, again, going from the most random source, but like that film, was it Road Trip?
Yeah,
He's teaching the geezer philosophy on the way back.
Oh, through like the eyes of wrestling.
Like making it adaptable and making it like something relatable to them.
What a film that is, by the way.
Yeah,
Don't make films like that
So
anymore.
that'd be the inspiration there. Like, I can relate. Like, my son loves superheroes. Like, these are his
So
Black
you can
Panther
use the superheroes.
yeah,
as
just
a
like
sort
stuff
of
like
analogy,
that.
sort of thing to.
Yeah, something that he'll relate to in his brain, and like, it makes sense now.
You know, a part of me wishes I answered this question first and we ended on Chris's, because my advice is so much more stupider. My advice is literally, when my kids get to an age where they're telling me they hate school or whatnot, I'm going to say, this is the easiest part of your life. Make the most of it, because bills are expensive, boy. Bills are expensive. Now, I'm joking. Honestly, no,
It's true though. It's true.
I will be telling them that. I will
Like,
be telling them that.
how many
because
times were we told that when we were young?
No
when
one
we were young,
listened.
and we were just like,
No
yeah,
one
whatever.
listened.
Yeah.
Nowhere else gives you 14 weeks a year annual leave, yeah, which
Unless
is what
you're a
schools
teacher.
give, yeah. Nowhere else gives you that.
Unless
All
you're a
your
teacher.
bank holiday.
Unless
Nah, but you know what? Teachers go in at half term, you
Bob's is
know.
like-
Teachers have to go in and do planning on half term.
Yeah.
Like, Bob
Yeah, true,
skives it as he skives school.
But
Nah,
kind of
but,
what you were saying earlier. They don't teach you like taxes. They don't teach
Nah,
you.
this is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So, my actual advice to my kids, it wouldn't be that. Obviously, I'm still going to say that at some point, though. Like, listen, lad.
Yeah.
Life gets
You gotta
expensive.
be
You know?
real with them.
The minute you turn
Like-
16, I want 2 bills a month. I'm joking. I'm not going to rob my kids. But no, like, genuinely, like, my advice to them would literally just be, use it to find yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and while you're there, ask your teachers the questions about stuff they don't teach you. Ask them about, because like I said, shout out Mr. Sangera.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, which you probably ain't, because you haven't got time for YouTube, you're a busy man. But like, he's the one who taught me about inheritance tax, because I found out I inherited a bit of money off my dad, and that when I turned 18, I'd have to pay tax on that when I inherited it, because in his will it was like locked until I was 18, and then when I turned 18, I'd have to clear it all off.
Yeah.
So he taught me about inheritance tax. He taught me about tax and stuff like that, and taught me, like, with inheritance tax, if someone gives you a non-liquid asset, you don't get inheritance taxed on it if it's sold at a certain date later down the line or something, and it's they only get the standard taxes they'd get as income tax.
Yeah. It's got to be like 7 years. Is it?
Yes, there's
Something
like a certain amount of time before they can disband that asset now and make it liquid into cash. But stuff like that, like, so now I know I want to make at least half of my estate and whatnot non-liquid for my kids, so they can hold it for a few years and not pay the stupid amount of tax they're gonna have to be met with. He taught me about taxes and corporation tax and self-employment and everything, because he knew this kid don't care about electricity and how it was made. He really doesn't, but he does like business.
Yeah.
Let me channel him this way. So ask your teachers about them things you're interested in that they're not teaching you. Ask them about the taxes. Ask them about business if you're interested in business. If you're interested about music, ask about them things. So that would be my thing.
Yeah.
Ask the adults, rob their wisdom.
Yeah.
Because they won't give it you willingly. A lot of teachers will not willingly give
They've
a child.
got a job to do, haven't they? So they're just
Yeah,
going to
it's not.
focus
They're
on
not.
that.
They're not trying to.
Yeah,
they're
they're
not trying to
not-
not
they're not-
educate you. They're
yeah,
doing.
but-
They're there to do a job.
Yeah,
that
they're not
trained to do.
able to. Right, I'll rephrase it. They would willingly do it. Some of them. Some teachers just don't want to speak to kids, but fair play to them. I don't want to speak to kids. Some
No,
days
not fair
either.
play to those teachers.
No,
Don't
they-
want-
they shouldn't be in that
If you
profession.
don't want to deal with kids, don't teach
Don't be a
kids.
teacher.
Simple
You
as
are
that.
right. You are right. But like, they can't teach you about taxes because it's not on the curriculum there.
Yeah.
They're presented with by their employers and by the bigger people up in the government. So your maths teacher isn't told, oh yeah, you got to teach this person about national insurance and tax. your business studies teacher wouldn't be told to teach you about certain things that they're not supposed to teach you. So you have just being what's the word? Inquisitive, is it? Where you're that would be my advice to my kids, just be inquisitive and also remember it's the cheapest time of your life.
I like that message. Like use it for yourself because it's your education.
Yeah.
Basically,
make the most of it,
system's
man.
not sculpted to you, so sculpt the system to be for you. Basically.
Yeah. Cool. And on that one, that concludes the episode, man. Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Good to be back, boys.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back in the new set and everything like that. And people, thank you again if you've got this far and you've been listening this far as well. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. Make sure you leave a comment as well on other topics that you topics that you want us to talk about. Because if you want us to dive a little bit deeper on like school days and everything like that, we can do another episode about it. So
yeah, man.
Let us know, man. Let us know.
See it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
It's been DadPod, people.
Peace and love.
Man.
Peace.
Peace.